All right, it is 3 o'clock. We are at the Historic Zoning Commission and Common Design Review Board. It is June the 22nd at 3 p.m. I will call the meeting to order. We do have a quorum. If you would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. And at this time, we have the minutes in front of you from May the 18th. Take a look at them. So you have any additions and or deletions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve. Motion's been made and properly seconded. Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, I assume you're ready to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Minutes carried by acclamation. And now we'll go into our Historic Commission and Common Design Review Board cases. Turn it over to Brent.
Thank you. Before we get going, just want to thank, as always, Mr. David Smith for these wonderful images from the air we will see today. With that being said, first case is D060-2026. It's the application of Bill Ballou with the agent of Bill Mace Homes. Reason for the request is requesting design approval of a proposed parcel consisting of 3 new commercial buildings for property located on the southeast corner of Horseshoe Cave Drive and Calumet Drive intersection. The property is highlighted in orange on the map on your screen, the rough area. This property does fall in the Barker's Mill subdistrict of Tinytown Road. First shot is looking into the site, so we have Tinytown Road at the bottom of the screen, Horseshoe Cave Drive running north-south on the screen, and then Calumet Drive intersecting those. Point out as a point of reference, this is the new Life Point Church Tinytown campus, and the site we're looking at today is just adjacent to it. And just continuing to work our way around the site, Tinytown Road on the left now and Horseshoe Cave Drive at the bottom of the screen. And then one from interior, looking back toward Tinytown Road. Again, Horseshoe Cave still running north-south on the screen, and the site in question today is adjacent to it. Then one more hovering over that new Life Point location, looking down into the site and toward Fort Campbell with Tinytown to the right. Final shot, we have the straight down view on the left and the corresponding site plan on the right. From the site plan, we have Calumet Drive and then Horseshoe Cave Drive. There is an 8-unit strip center fronting off of Calumet and 13 units off of Horseshoe Cave. Both of those are retail buildings, and then an office warehouse building behind them. Also on the site plan, point out the building on Calumet is right up on that 50-foot front setback. The building off of Horseshoe Cave Drive, the 50-foot setback runs through kind of this row of parking through here. The building sets roughly 50 foot behind it. The Barker's Mill subdistrict calls for 60% of the front facade to be built to that 50-foot NBSL. Next, we have the elevations that were submitted. This is a majority brick veneer building, weathered white is the color. The non-recessed portions, or these darker portions in the middle and the end caps, have a stone base, which is Norris gray color on it, and then there are little pockets of accent ephes above the storefronts on the non-recessed portion, and then around the parapet wall. The top elevation is the elevation viewed from Horseshoe Cave Drive. The bottom is the elevation that will front on Calumet Drive. And then this is the building that will not be viewed really from the right of way. It will sit behind both of those buildings. The materials are the same, does have a little more drive-it or EFS at the top portion there. And the only staff comment is the Barker's Mill Subdistrict requires a minimum 60% of the front facade to be at the front setback line. And I will answer any questions of the staff if there are any.
Is there any questions for Brett? Any questions for Brett? With that,
So,
Bill,
is this a variance they're asking for? Or is this
Yes.
is this a review question or a zoning question?
It is, it will be this board. We don't really have a good variance process. They're asking for that site plan to be approved as submitted.
and I do have a question too.
Yes, sir.
I noticed on there the roads were been connected when I do the aerial view on my computer. Calumet and where's Calumet and where's the other road?
Calumet is
There.
this road and Horseshoe Cave Drive.
Okay, they've been extended then from that.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah.
they just haven't been named yet.
Yeah.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, with that, we will now open the case hearing for DO-60-2026. Anybody wishing to speak in favor, please come forward, state your name and address, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Cal McKay Merchant Company, 1545 Madison Street. And I guess I'm a little confused, and maybe Brent can clear this up, but in this Barker's Mill subzone, the table says minimum setbacks as according to base zoning and maximum setbacks according to base zoning. So I don't feel like we're asking for a variance. And the portion that talks about the facade doesn't say anything about the minimum setback line. Is that?
Brent, you can stop his time while he thinks. Go ahead, Brent.
Yeah, to answer Mr. McKay's question, the setbacks are revert to base zoning, so the 50-foot is there. It's the 60% of the front facade that has to be at that setback line.
But it
Is what
doesn't say minimum, it just says building setback. I would think if it was,
Yeah,
And
minimum
it-
front facade at setback line.
but it doesn't say minimum setback line.
Well, it says min, period, I guess, and that's, was the intent.
Well, it
of
says
so
min
minimum.
front facade.
Yeah, 60% of it is what the requirement would be to be at
Well,
that
if that's the case, then like everyone that we've been involved with in 20 years has been wrong. We were here with the Long John Silvers either last month or month before, and it was at 83.6 feet off the right of way, and it was a 50-foot minimum.
Yeah, and that's the thing, there's certain
Same
sub-districts.
one.
A lot of what we see is, especially recently, is more in the highway, so past essentially gas and water going down Madison Street's all highway sub-district. And there's no requirements in it, no glazing requirements, facade at the setback, certain things. Other cases where we see like a reduced setback, you know, it's either a 5-foot minimum, 30-foot maximum, so we'll see projects come in, you know, in that range there.
So you kind of see how this is confusing, that it says all the setbacks are based
Sure.
on the zoning, and then it says front facade, minimum front facade at building line. So we could make the minimum setback 102 feet.
I don't mean any harm, but you can continue that part of the conversation at the end, if you will,
Okay.
if
I'm
you don't
just- I'm
mind.
just
Because you're talking
confused.
semantics
I
now.
know.
I'm confused too, so.
Yeah, I feel like we meet the ordinance and would like it approved as is.
Okay.
Do you have any
Do you have
questions?
anything else you want to say? Is that
I have a
all?
question.
Anybody have any questions?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. McKay, I know this case was brought to the Access Appeal Board in front of our committee. I see you're requesting design approval of a proposed partial consisting of 3 new commercial buildings. So what are you asking for, and then you got the location of request, a southeast corner of Horseshoe Cave Drive and the Calumet Drive intersection. So are you asking for a driveway, or I'm trying to figure out what you're asking for. I'm not sure.
I guess they passed an overlay district design overlay district, and it requires it to come to this committee for architectural and site review.
So is it basically more about the setback or no-
Setback and the build, and I think the building appearance.
the building appearance and setbacks?
Yes,
Okay. Not any driveways, like you came before us with this?
Correct.
No openings for driveways on private, driving. That's why we just removed it from our agenda. Okay, better understanding. Thank you.
I have one more question. How much of the front facade is in the front setback line? If it's not 60%, is it 50%, 40%?
I guess I just read that completely different on what the requirement is, and the way I read it, we have 62% of our buildings facing, front facade facing the road, facing the frontage.
Okay.
So I feel like that we're in compliance.
Cal, is this the first you and Brent have talked about this right now?
Yeah, I thought maybe that y'all worked it out because it wasn't on the agenda. And their variance is on the agenda.
No, this was always on the agenda, but I just hate to do these things at the podium when we would work with you last week if this came up. But I believe the intent of this is to be the minimum setback 50 feet here. You meet it on Calumet, I believe. That's right at the 50 feet mark over there. But when you go back to that double stack of parking, it pushes the building back to close to 100 feet, right? And then the requirement would say that 60% of that frontage on that road would have to be at the 50 foot. The rest could be further back. It may not be worded correctly. I did look at the definitions. There's no separate definitions for minimum, maximum, or other setback. It's just setback is the established setback line of the zone. So if there's a way to make that clear, it's all about urban design and not necessarily the established setback of the building that's brought here. But we'll have to get that corrected because I believe similar language is in the new code, something similar to that. But if we can make that clearer, we will.
Well, I guess what I meant
I
is this agenda does not have us asking for an appeal or anything, but the second one it
Well, that was
does.
kind of my question to Brent. It's just for approval, the kind of, I guess,
Yeah.
I probably clouded it with variance, but the approval is just as is. I guess I have a question, and I'm not sure who to who. I mean, if they eliminated the second row of parking to move this forward to the 50 feet, would they still have the required amount of parking?
Just move it to the back.
Well, yeah,
You'd have to,
then it's in the back door.
yeah, you'd have to move other parking around.
I don't think that would work either.
I also mentioned this, the city council actually sent this back to the RPC to allow for more parking in the front when they adopted these overlays.
Any other questions?
Genius.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else to speak in favor? Please come forward, state your name and address. You'll have 3 minutes.
Mr. Chairman, Commission members, excuse me, I'm Wayne Wilkinson with NAI Clarksville. Our company will be handling the leasing on this. The project was referred to as a retail center. It's really more office and flex space intended to support the new TriStar Hospital that's being developed across the street. And it's logical to think that the tenants, the customers of those businesses, the medical businesses, will be customers who may have mobility issues. They will need to be as close to the front door of the facility as possible. And I'm sure y'all have experienced that or had someone in your family that's experienced that. So I would appreciate or encourage you to consider leaving the setbacks as the applicant has requested. Be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Wilkinson? Go ahead, Wanda.
Thank you. Mr. Wilkinson, thank you for coming forward. So you're saying that you all are going to be renting out, or maybe hospital doctors or so, or employees may be renting some of the space in your building that you plan to build?
That's projected and logical use for that facility. It's not up on Tiny Town Road, so it's not going to be a retail facility in your traditional sense. It's going to be more flex office space for medical providers.
Okay, I see. So, have you talked to someone who's building the hospital, any contractors or investors that's building the hospital, to see if you could connect to the hospital in some kind of way? Just a thought.
No, ma'am, I haven't had that conversation. I don't think it's,
The reason
I
I
don't think
asked,
there's any way to connect to the hospital, so.
a bridge, overpass, no, I'm just saying, I'm serious.
Yeah,
Because, I mean, I've seen other hospitals where it's a building and they got the overpass that it connects with the hospital. That's not impossible. That's something that has happened today. So I've seen it. I mean, I don't know how connected you are with the hospital people, the ones who's going to construct the hospital or build it. But that's a possibility, and that's just a creative idea. I'm just thinking about that would help you, because I heard you say that, please let the setbacks be up closer so you could be to the hospital so they could get there quick as possible. And I was thinking if you have something that reaches over to the hospital, connected with the hospital, we could keep the setbacks as are or as they should be. So that was just my thought.
yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Wilkinson?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else wish to speak in favor? Please come forward, state your name and address. You'll have 3 minutes. Anybody else? Anybody else? Since nobody else in favor, would anybody else like to speak against? Please come forward, state your name and address. You'll have 3 minutes. Anybody opposed? Okay, we will now close the case number DO-60-2026. Board you guys have any more questions? Yes, sir, Kirk.
For discussion, do we want to give them the opportunity to talk and delay this? Or is it behoove us to go ahead and get this approved today? I'm just curious of how much of the setback is an issue for the staff.
We uphold the rule we believe was put in place. What I want to say is if you want to keep creating auto-centric areas and make it look auto-centric, just keep approving things with 2 or 3 rows of parking in front of everything.
Sure.
I also wonder, usually medical suppliers don't want strip malls. They want Class A office space. So there may be some pharmacies and some medical supply that come in here, but I do think with the apartments nearby, and this hospital is lagging a little bit, so we'll see when it gets built. St. Thomas Ascension is going to be the first one through the door, I believe, down at exit 11. But this area is going to grow up as an area similar to Dunlop Lane, I believe, where current Tenova, now Vanderbilt Clarksville is. And it's got a mix of commercial, because people need to eat when they go to the hospital. They need services nearby, coffee for the nurses, that kind of stuff. And then there are some spillover medical office or child care, other things. We're going to see other things as this area builds out, because this is a large piece of property, one of the most undeveloped parts of North Clarksville. And with the hospital, as well as the case you'll see here in just a few minutes, this is going to be a transformative area that is going to need everything. Planning Commission approved a couple hundred apartments just next door. You saw the construction in those areas. So, like I said, it's changing. The idea is, though, once something's built, it's going to be there forever. It's not one we're going to die on a hill for. You've approved it on Madison Street recently, allowing buildings to be further back than further closer to the road. So we leave it in your hands in the zoning ordinance under each of these tables for all the districts, not just this one, but Madison Street, downtown, and others. It says that this board may vary the numbers in that. So the glazing, the height, the setbacks. So it's really in your hands, but I encourage you to ask questions or debate it amongst yourselves.
I would propose maybe we just delay this case till next month, just to give them an opportunity to have more conversations with the staff to understand and clear up the language a little bit of the law or the statute.
We're not going to be able to update the language anytime soon. That's a 3-month process if we started it today to get it through City Council. But
Okay.
we can, starting today, I mean, if it wasn't known, these are the intents, but we can definitely make sure that future applicants understand the intent of that chart and what the word setback does mean there.
Sure.
I would suggest maybe to add an amendment to let it go to site review, and if they can't work anything out during that time, then it comes back to us, which would be your delay.
Okay,
That's my suggestion.
okay.
Doug, you had a question?
There's two people with their mics. Sorry. Were all the neighbors notified about this meeting? This is not like the historic zoning where we notify neighbors.
They were notified of the site plan, but honestly, the only neighbors out there, I think, is a bank, a church, and
Well, I meant
Mr. Mason's other properties.
Because
yeah.
it does come up to the church. I just didn't know if the church had any time to look at it.
And this is the first property built in the overlay in this area, first commercial property. The other commercial properties in the church were all approved predating this.
Any other comments or questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion, and then we can move from there.
I'll make a motion for approval.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Properly seconded. Any discussion? Would you like to make an amendment?
That's with the amendment that you.
She- Hold on.
I would like to see the setback go through the review process.
So the amendment is to approve, but have it go through the review process, and if they can't come back with a agreed-upon setback, then it come back to
Well,
us.
this is the board today to decide where that setback is. Is it 50 feet, is it 100, or is it something in between?
Can you go back to the aerial that has it and the church in it?
The planning commission will meet tomorrow, and based on what was approved today, we will approve a site plan that meets what you all say today.
So my point is, if where it's located, it's more kind of in line with the existing construction of the church that's there. If we move it up to 50 feet off the road, it's going to be, you know,
The structure on Calumet is big, in the Horseshoe Cave.
oh, so the one that's further is the one parallel to what we're looking at on the
Off of
bottom.
Horseshoe, correct, yep.
Can you read the verbiage on that part again, from that Cal was reading from? When he said
It's, the staff comment here that.
No,
the-
not the staff comment, the regs, because it doesn't say 60, it doesn't give a distance, does it? It said a minimum.
Yeah, it requires the minimum of 60% of the front facade to be at the front setback line. That's how that chart reads.
That's how the chart reads, okay.
Yeah.
So you're saying that if they had, it'd be 50 feet, and then if it's 100 feet long, you'd have 60 feet at the 50 feet line, and then you could bump back.
You could, correct, yes.
So you're
yes.
saying we can't put that amendment on there?
It's not. Amending this pending the planning commission approval, they're not going to debate this tomorrow. They're going to approve a building that's compliant with the rules. This falls under, again, the charts in chapter 9.3 and 9.4. The very last second says variances from this table shall be the authority of the Common Design Review Board, and that includes the setbacks, height, glazing, and some other lot coverage and some other things as well. So the one they're asking for is, again, this 60%. In essence, they're asking to have 0% of the building at the 50 feet. We're saying the rule says 60%, but you've heard from the applicants for their reasoning.
So then the amendment would be frivolous, and there was never
Yeah.
seconded anyway. So going back
I
to
got
the
a
original motion, is there any other discussion? Yes, ma'am.
So if it was sitting 50 feet back, would that be enough room to add sidewalks? Would that,
It would not affect the sidewalks.
they'll be putting down sidewalks, is that correct?
They're already doing that.
They're already
yes.
doing that now?
It would move this building right here where my hand is forward 50 feet, which would take out a row, the row of parking in front of the building, as well as the drive aisle. That's about 50 feet right there. So it'd still leave one drive aisle with 2 rows of parking on each side.
Oh, okay. I think
That's the difference.
that's kosher. I think that's good.
Yeah.
I think that's good.
And we approved something similar to this, I
Yeah,
think, a month or
this is
two ago.
good. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, I assume you're ready to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? It carries. All right, now we will go, Brent.
So we voted for the 50 feet
No, the motion
Yeah,
was for the
as
100
is.
feet, not the 50 feet.
100 feet back?
Yes. As shown, which
We
was
approve.
100 feet. Would you like to just change your vote for the record?
100 feet back, setback.
You can change your vote.
I know that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to make clarity. I just want to be clear here.
Yeah.
I thought I was voting for the 50 feet setback.
No. The motion was approved as submitted, which was the 100-foot
Is that what they're requesting?
building. Yes.
What I'm good for. That's what they want. I'm good for. I just want to make sure,
All right.
we had some amendments to it.
We didn't have any.
Final case today, DO 61, 2026. It's the application of CHM Clarksville LLC with the agent of Hunter Harrison. Reason for the request is requesting a waiver/variance to Table 9.3 standards in the Barker's Mill subdistrict of the Clarksville zoning ordinance that 60% of the building facade must be at the 50-foot NBSL of the public right-of-way, and also requesting approval of elevations. This property is located at the southwest corner of Tinytown Road and the Autumnwood Boulevard intersection. It is about a block west of the case we just looked at. The rough area is highlighted in orange on your screen, and it also falls in the Barker's Mill subdistrict. First shot is looking into the site. We have Tinytown Road at the bottom of the screen. We will have a convenience store in this area, and the retail roughly back in this area. We'll point out this Autumnwood Boulevard here is currently under construction. And then just continuing to work around the site. One from interior to the site with Tinytown Road in the distance, and again, that Autumnwood Boulevard road being constructed. Looking at a convenience store on the Tinytown Autumnwood corner, and then a retail center a little further back. And then the final shot just zoomed in on that Autumnwood and Tinytown intersection, looking across the site. This is the site and landscape plan. So just out of the top of the screen up here is Tinytown Road, and then again Autumnwood Boulevard. As I mentioned, you have the convenience store fronting on Tinytown, and the single-use retail center back here, mainly off of Autumnwood Boulevard, but fronting on Tinytown as well. Similar to the last case, the convenience store does have gas pumps, but the 50-foot off of Tinytown, 60% of the front facade would apply to that as well. And then the same with the retail center off of Autumnwood. The setback line is roughly right in this area. Next, we have the elevations, and I will do my best to explain what you will be voting on today. We had an original submittal, so we have original elevations and then alternate elevations. So first, what we're looking at is the original elevations. The top elevation is the labeled as the front elevation, is how it will be viewed from Tinytown Road. And then the bottom elevation labeled as the left side is how it will be viewed from Autumnwood Boulevard. The material starting on the top, it is all brick veneer, rotating between a slate gray and a steel gray color. It does have a stone base around certain portions, silver lining color, and those materials and colors are called out at the bottom. It does have one section of ephes in the middle that will be painted in the top center, and then it also has pockets of spandrel glazing along the front as well. It does have some transparent glazing, but then there are areas of spandrel glazing. This was done to try to meet the 60% of first floor retail to be glazed, to try to meet that intent of the ordinance. The left side elevation at the bottom here is how it will be viewed from Autumnwood Boulevard. And again, you have one little area of transparent glazing in here, and then the rest of the glazing you see is the spandrel glazing. Next
Brent-
elevation.
Brent, we usually don't use the term spandrel glazing, so will you let the board members
Yeah.
know what they're looking at there?
Yeah, good call, and it's a good lead in here. So we have the original design is the top elevation, and the alternate design is the lower one that you see here. As Mr. Tyndall mentioned, spandrel glazing, dark opaque tinted glass on the ground floor is an inappropriate material. That spandrel glazing is not transparent, so it has the glass appearance, but you cannot see through it. Their intent, as I mentioned, was to try to meet the intent of the ordinance while, just avoiding the large areas of blank space and void wall. I did send that comment to them that would be a staff comment, so they came back with the alternate design that you see on the bottom. On the alternate design, they use some brick veneer inlays and shallow arcades and things of that nature to give it some architectural character while removing all that spandrel glazing. And this is what's in your packet today with a little better look at it and a perspective, bringing those elevations to a 3D model here. So the top is the original, and on the left-hand side, you can see these areas of the spandrel glazing, which has the glass appearance, but again, cannot be seen through. And then also has some transparent glazing as well in there. The proposed alternate is without the spandrel glazing, but again, as I mentioned, has some of those brick veneer inlays and arcades to give it a little bit of architectural character as well. And this is just a view from the other side. Again, showing in the top is the original design with the spandrel glazing, and the bottom has removed all the spandrel glazing and added some architectural characteristics. Next, we have the convenience store, similar to the retail. All the materials will match from the primary retail user. This is the original submittal. The area around the front door is the transparent glazing, and then they have added some spandrel glazing as well. The top left is how it will be viewed from Tiny Town, and the left side elevation here is how it will be viewed from Autumnwood Boulevard. The left side is all spandrel glazing. And then here is the original, again up top, and then an alternate design at the bottom, again using some different architectural techniques to give it some character instead of just a blank wall there. Finally, this is just the fuel pump and canopy. I just threw this in there. This is something we do ask anytime we have a gas station come in, but they're using some masonry in there that matches for the columns that match the convenience store and the main retail center building. Again, it's not required by ordinance, but it is something we ask. It just, I think, adds a little something to the site. So, staff comments. Barker's Mill Subdistrict requires a minimum 60% of the front facade to be at the front setback line. The Barker's Mill Subdistrict also calls for 60% glazing on the first floor, and then dark opaque tinted glass on the ground floor is an inappropriate material. And we met as a staff on Tuesday and discussed the two options, and the staff prefers the original design over the proposed alternate. So I will answer any questions of the staff if there are any.
Kurt?
What is the percentage of glazing on both pieces?
On the original, it is 49%. So it's still short of that 60. With 24, it's either 24 or 25% is transparent, and then 24 or 25 is the spandrel glazing. And on the alternate design, it's 20%, and it's all transparent and no spandrel. So.
And how about for the convenience store as well?
I don't have those calculations
Okay.
for the convenience store.
Okay. And is the spandrel glass, would they be willing to just make it typical glazing, or is it?
You know, the purpose of the spandrel twofold is one, to try to meet the intent of the guidelines, and two, it's there. You couldn't have glass because that's the ancillary uses for this retail center. So your freezers, fridges, warehousing, prep, stuff like that. So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Any other questions for the staff? Seeing none, we will now open the public hearing for case DO-61-2026. Anyone wishing to speak in favor, please come forward, state your name and address. You'll have 3 minutes.
Good afternoon. My name is Don Kendall. I'm with the Development Management Group, representing CHM Clarksville today. My address is 4209 Gallatin Pike, Nashville, Tennessee. As you've just discussed on the last hearing, we too are asking for our site plan to be approved as submitted today. We are dealing with a national retailer, big box retailer, and so we don't have the flexibility that a small retail might have in placement of buildings and how the site works. We will be requesting the front building to be more than 400 feet from the property line. That allows us to put the appropriate parking out in front of the building, which is for the safety of the customers. We are also asking to forego the glazing requirement. We have proposed spandrel glass because in a lot of jurisdictions that have similar requirements, spandrel is allowed because it represents glass. It has the look and feel of glass. You just can't see through it. And as Brent mentioned earlier, we've got ancillary equipment that's running on those front walls. And if it's not equipment, it's merchandise. And so we don't want to provide a view of that for the public. You know, those are best left behind a wall if at all possible. Our tenant would prefer to have the ancillary brick treatment that you see as the second elevation. We're prepared to accept either of these as acceptable and can get it approved through our tenant. They provided these elevations, so they are prepared to accept whatever the board suggests, minus being able to provide 60% straight glazing glass. If I can answer any questions, I'd be more than happy to.
Any questions for Mr. Kendall? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Would anybody else like to speak in favor? Please come forward, state your name and address. You'll have 3 minutes. Anyone else in favor? Seeing none, anyone in opposition? Anyone against? Please come forward, state your name, address. Seeing none, we will now close the public hearing of DO-61-2026. Do we have any other questions or a motion?
I have just one question. On the site plan where we have the convenience store portion of it, is the area between the interior drive where all the tabulations are, is that going to be yard or is that out parcel property?
It's out parcels.
So we could be coming back and looking at something
We're
would
probably
shield
going to
the
have a
whole
lot in this area.
that would shield the whole property from Tiny Town.
Could, yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions?
So board members, what you're being asked with this one is to make a motion on whether or not you approve of the setback being above that 60% threshold at the setback, or should say below that threshold, and then either the glazing on top or the alternative on the bottom as the choice for the design for us to see get built. So we'll need that in a motion when someone makes a motion.
Doug?
I'll make a motion to approve the site plan as submitted with the original design with the glass.
Motion's been made and properly seconded. Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, I assume you're ready to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? It carries. Is there any other business to come before this body? Any other business? Seeing none? Wait. I'm going next for public comments. Now you put that as number 5. I'd like to move that to number 2 or 3 if we could. Anybody wish to make any public comments, please come forward.
Yeah, on behalf of the RPC staff, I would like to congratulate and commend Mr. Kirk Zeman. He recently graduated from Capella University in Minneapolis, Minnesota with the degree of Doctor of Philosophy and Information Technology with the specialization in Information Assurance and Cybersecurity. So congratulations, Dr. Zeman.
Woo-hoo! There you go, Kirk. The doctor's in the house. Yeah. Any other buddy wish to make any public comments? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion's been made, properly seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? We're adjourned.